So today it's the weekend and it's gonna be another big day of prepping for book 2. I am getting so close to publishing. I don't want to tell anybody the date, and I think that's kind of like last year when I published my first book. I told everybody the date, I announced it. It was going to be so much fun having this whole release, and Amazon screwed it up so bad. And it got delayed by another week. It was just a mess. It was chaos. I just don't want to repeat that again. I want to make sure that my release date is my release date. Everything is in order. It is checked off. There is nothing Amazon can do to delay this and ruin it. I don't want to say the release date yet, but it's coming very, very soon. Hi, Scout. So today is another long day of making sure everything is in order. Everything is going well. Come here, Scout. 1 second. Here's Scout's introduction to the vlog. I got him a couple months ago, and so he is only 6 months old, and you'd never know it. He's a monster. I love him though. He's so snuggly and cute. Anyways, I really, really want to make sure everything is done and dusted for this release so that I can just announce it, feel good about the announcement, feel confident that everything will be in order. And if I say, hey, it's released on this date, you can buy that on that date. Point is, today is another long day of making sure that everything is in order, and one of the ways that I have to do that is preparing for YALLFest, because YALLFest was extremely helpful for me last year. I was finding people who were genuinely interested in Ainsley's story because it fit the category. I mean, YALLFest is all for young adult books, and that is what Ainsley's story is. Even though she is high end of young adult, it is a no spice story. It is, young adult blended with a coming of age story in my mind. It felt like the perfect readers. There were so many people who were so excited. I found an incredible reviewer from YALLFest last year. She was so kind. She messaged me. She made videos about the book. I'm so hoping I get to see her again this year because it was so nice to meet her last year. And yeah, so I just want to make sure that YALLFest this year goes well and I enjoy it. And one of the ways I have to do that is finding shoes. Last year I didn't have the right shoes, so I have to go to town and see if I can find some shoes. And I figured, why not bring you along? Because you know what? This is, in a weird way, part of the prep. So, book 2 prep starts now. If you're ever wondering what I'm listening to while I am driving, kind of just goes back and forth between this podcast and another book one. I'll read what she's reading. I really find them calming, and I really, really love them. I genuinely couldn't find any boots, any clothes, nothing. I am really feeling overwhelmed on my YALLFest outfit options. So if anybody has any suggestions for me, or any companies want to send me some cute clothes, incredibly helpful. Thank you so much. So this is the reality of being a self-published author who still works full-time and still wants to have a social life. It is now 5 o'clock on Sunday night, and I've been able to do a lot of fun things. I went to a book festival this weekend. I made progress on getting everything together for YALLFest, and I was able to spend time with family. That being said, I haven't done anything for my book today. Anything. And I just saw a countdown to YALLFest. 18 days. I have 18 days. So that's great. So the reality of being a self-published author who works full-time is now from 5 until however late I can push my brain to go until I have to sleep so that I'm somewhat functional for work tomorrow. I have to work on my book. So I'm gonna bring you along for that. I'm gonna show you all the steps that I'm going through tonight and what that looks like, and hopefully if I'm bringing you and recording it, it'll be a little bit more motivation for me to keep going and not get distracted with very cozy Sunday evening things that could very easily take away my attention. So I'm gonna bring you along for that. First things first, I did just finish recording my last clip for my very first vlog. I'm gonna really try to publish that right now. For some reason, I feel like a lot of people really enjoy vlogs on Sundays, and I think I've kind of missed my window already, but I just don't want to get this out of the way before I go back to work because I don't want to have to deal with this during my work week. So first things first, import the videos, edit, and publish my first vlog, hopefully. We'll see how this goes. I can't believe I actually did it, but it's done. That's my vlog on the TV. I don't know. I can't decide if I like it. Like, I'm happy I went through the process and I did it. I'm glad I'm at least trying, but something about seeing that up, I'm like, ooh. So anyways, I did it. I posted it, I finished it. There is a vlog online. Hopefully this does something and you enjoy watching it. I have to say, I am not used to talking to the camera yet. I don't know how vloggers do it. I've been sitting here in my own home alone, completely embarrassed because I don't know how to start this vlog. So hi, I just figured this would be a fun series I could start that is my 5 to 9 diaries. So if you're new here, I am a self-published author and I am very much, nobody knows who I am yet. Nobody's heard of the books yet. And I still work a full-time job to support the writing and obviously support myself. And I always find it really interesting to see what other people do as like time management or tactics to stay focused for their 5 to 9 work schedule, which basically is just work a 9 to 5. And then you also have some kind of side hustle, whether that's creative, a passion project, a side business, a small business, whatever it might be. There are lots of people who kind of dedicate this time of 5 to 9 after their full-time job as those hours for work. And that is very much what I've adopted. It's one, necessary, because otherwise I would never get anything done. And two, I find that by being strict about doing a 5 to 9 after work schedule for my writing and the publishing process, it gives me a lot more freedom over the weekends to be able to feel like I can go out and not have guilt over not being home writing, editing, working on publishing. So that also helps because even just being able to go and take a walk or go to a local coffee shop or something on my day off and feel no guilt or pressure to devote that time to writing, editing, whatever it might be, I think that that really refills my creative cup. Without that, I don't think I'd be able to keep going. I've tried it before and it's very much just a recipe for burnout, to just keep going even when you kind of feel like you need the time off. So this is my personal trick I found to help me kind of balance full-time work, my writing publishing work, and then a life. Not that I have much of a life going on right now, but just anything that I can find for having just free time where I don't feel pressured to be writing or editing or whatever it might be. So all of that being said, I thought it would be kind of interesting, because I know I love watching these videos, to bring you along on my 5 to 9 journey. If you guys like this, I can keep doing this. I can show you more tips and tricks that I do, some of the processes I've learned along the way that help me to stay focused or to allot the time. And I'll just bring you along. And if you have any questions, let me know in the comments so I can kind of show you in the next video a little bit more detail about everything that I'm doing to get ready to publish my second book. So I definitely think my biggest tip for tackling the 5 to 9 after work, second job, passion project, whatever it might be, that grind, is meal prepping. I know that's a really weird thing to call a tip, but it really is the biggest thing that's helped me over the years. Basically, I would get home from work, I would realize I needed to cook, and the thought process of having to cook, deciding what it was, making sure I had the ingredients, and actually cooking the meal ate up like so much of my time. It was crazy when I realized how much time just cooking dinner was eating up. And so then I switched over into basically just not eating dinner at all. I just have like cereal or yogurt or something, and that obviously doesn't help you either, because you need the food and the nourishment to have your brain work and your body work and to feel good enough to put in the 5 to 9 work grind. So it was really a catch-22. And what I found that truly, truly has helped me is either meal prepping or always keeping ingredients in your pantry, in your freezer, for really super quick dinners that are filling and fast and just give you all of the protein and nourishment that you need so that you can just get right into working and not having to think about dinner. Tonight I'm doing one of those. I was really lazy this weekend and I didn't meal prep. So I am doing the quick and easy dinner route. I am huge into soup. I love soup. And basically from fall to spring, every dinner is soup or stew for me. So this is my white bean spinach soup. Sounds disgusting, but I promise you it's actually very, very good. So basically you just take any white bean. My personal favorite is Great Northern beans. I think that they are absolutely delicious. And keep a bag of frozen spinach. And then you can just use any bouillon, any, you know, boxed broth you might have, whatever. This is what I use. You can get it from Sam's Club, and I think this entire thing was like $5, and I've had it for a embarrassingly long time. So there's another hack for you. And then I do have to eat gluten-free, unfortunately. This is what I'm using up right now. So I'm really loving orzo gluten-free lately. I think that if you have tried gluten-free pasta and you absolutely hate like the crunch that it can get, orzo is definitely your solution. I really, really like putting the orzo in my soups, or I love pasta dishes with gluten-free orzo. So good. Anyways, this soup, like you can tell, water's already boiling. And it's gonna take me 5 minutes to cook it. I mean, basically the longest thing I have to do is cook the pasta, and with orzo, pasta is so fast. Let's see how long it takes me to throw together this soup. Just a little bit of that is the secret to any good soup, I swear. And now we wait. So sometimes as an author, this Kindle Direct dashboard is depressing because you just kind of open it every day and you're like, wow, nobody's reading this book. At least that's been my experience. But today it's really exciting. While I'm waiting for my soup to cook, I saw this. Somebody's reading my book today. That's so cool. And they're like binging it too, because I checked this around lunch and there was not that many pages read. So it seems like they're enjoying it. 151 pages. Like, that's awesome. I just thought it was a cool thing to share and remind you that, you know, some days you're going to open it up and nobody's going to be reading it, but other days you'll open it and somebody will be binging it. So that's kind of exciting. Okay, so another tip for like 5 to 9 working on projects, whatever it might be for you, is take time for dinner. I'm not just talking like take the time to actually eat. I mean, take the time to sit down, put on your favorite YouTube video, put on a podcast, just whatever brings you like total comfort, total, here's my cat Scout. Whatever brings you total just peace and comfort and ease. Because if you're anything like me and you have that 9 to 5 job, not even that it's stressful, but just, you know, working every single day, 9 to 5, it can be exhausting and you can get out of work and be really tired. And you don't want to push yourself so hard that you burn out earlier in the night. I have found something incredibly helpful for me is taking the time to eat without working through dinner. Those days that I do it, I always regret it because I feel like I burn out earlier in the night and I can't make it to the 9. So I always recommend, even if you are so stressed out about what you have to get done and your deadline, you can set a timer for 15 minutes of just eating and watching a show to distract your brain, or eating and reading a book to distract your brain. Something that is very calm and, you know, relaxing to you, and also mentally distracting enough where you're not constantly pulled back into, well, my computer's right here, I can just work while I eat. I just really think there is something rejuvenating and refreshing about just sitting, eating, and turning your brain off for 15, 20 minutes, half hour, whatever it is that you allot yourself. You think about it, if you have a break at work, how refreshing that break is and how you feel like you can actually go back into doing your work and last the rest of the day because of it. So think of it as the same thing. I just really, truly believe it's incredibly helpful. And if you can, if your time and deadlines and mental capacity allow it, definitely just take a 15 to 20 minute food break. Just sit, relax, enjoy, and try as hard as you can not to think about all the things on your to-do list for the night. It will help you last and keep going and actually fulfill the 5 to 9 workload. Have you ever seen a more relaxed cat? I swear this cat can literally just find any spot, anywhere, and it's his place to sleep. I don't really understand it, but I'll take it because he's a good baby. He is. Also, who else is obsessed with Zoe and Alfie? Anytime they post a vlog, I'm watching it, and I'm so curious to see what this Dear Sunday thing is. I definitely think it's a podcast, but drop your comments on what you think it is. Time update, it is 6:44, and I have been working on and off since 5, but now that dinner is over and I've gotten a couple house chores out of the way, it is time to really settle in, sure that I am, getting long stints of work in at a time. If you have things that absolutely have to get done during your 5 to 9, chores, prepping for food the next day, whatever that might be, set timers for interval work and chores. So every single time that I start working on my book or editing or whatever it might be, unless I have just like a free day where I feel like I literally can sit down and just work for hours and it doesn't matter. If I feel that there are other things in the back of my mind, what really helps is doing the interval timers, because not only do I get things done around the house and then it doesn't back up and I feel more accomplished, by having the timers, it ends up making my quality of work better because I'm not sitting there at the 25-minute mark of writing and trying to type out some big scene, and the entire time I'm just thinking, oh my goodness, all those dishes are on my counter, or I need to make sure I have food tomorrow for work so that I can just get up and get out the door. So it really ends up making my quality of work better by making sure that I'm staying on top of it and doing the intervals and keeping track of both the book maintenance and life maintenance. Because if one falls through the crack, I've noticed then the quality of other falls through the crack too. I'm not trading off my quality of life for excellent writing or vice versa. They have to be in balance or they both fail. So that is my tip to you. Mundane things on in the background if you need sound, and make sure to do interval timers for your project plus life so that you can get everything done, feel balanced, feel refreshed, and really be able to put in your best effort. So my timer's starting, I'm getting to work now, and we'll see how much I get done in that time. So I have a little writing companion tonight, and he's gonna get in the rest of the videos. I already know it. He's so cuddly in the evenings, it's crazy. This is Scout. Listen. No. If you're curious what I'm getting into tonight, full transparency, I don't have the budget, mainly just the budget, but kind of the time to delegate out my editing. I would love to be able to hire an editor who freelances, and I would love to be able to use their services, support them, because I know a lot of them are doing that as a side hustle as well. I would absolutely love to do that. Unfortunately, it's just not realistic for me, and I feel that even though some people might be like, oh, why is she admitting that? I think it's important because I think that is the reality for the large majority of self-published authors. They do not have the budget to be able to freelance out these editors and these cover designers and everything. Hey. Hi, Kitty. Yeah, I think that's the reality for most self-published authors, is we do not have the budget to be able to freelance these things out. which is unfortunate, but it's true. So I just want to be transparent about that and kind of show you guys what I do instead to try to make sure I'm putting out the best quality item I can and make sure that, you know, you see all sides of publishing, whether that is the very, very glamorous, everything is freelanced out, everything is delegated, traditional publishing where they have basically a limitless budget. And then the very, very opposite end of the spectrum, which is I have zero budget to freelance anything out. I'm doing everything myself, designing the cover, formatting, editing, all of it is by myself and a couple of beta readers who are very, very generous with their time and resources. If you are thinking about self-publishing or you've already self-published and you're just kind of overwhelmed by the fees and costs of all of it, then just know I have done this with next to no budget for it. I did invest in purchasing ISBNs, which was the biggest investment, the best thing I could have ever done. Highly recommend that. I can go into more detail if you want another time. Yeah, I'd say the biggest investment I've done is the ISBN purchase. Everything else is just like subscriptions to Canva, subscriptions to Grammarly. So let me show you what I'm working on tonight. I am going to do everything I can to show you what I'm doing without, you know, spoiling the book before it's out. If you see like blurring on the screen, just ignore it. It's just something that I couldn't spoil for you yet. So basically, this is what I'm doing tonight. I have found this absolutely incredible program that is 100% free. They have paid options. I just used the free version. I used it for my first book. It worked incredible. Highly recommend it to any author who needs a program like this. The program is called Reedsy. It is for formatting your book, depending on what program you write in, if it's Google Docs, your Notes app, your Pages app, or a more sophisticated program. You can then put it in this program and it separates it by chapters, parts if you want it. You can add in things like the table of contents, your copyright page, all of the little nitty-gritty items of a manuscript that you don't necessarily think about and you actually need before publishing. So basically what I do is I write the entire draft in a docs page, and then once the draft is done and I feel like it's almost ready to print, I then put it all in Reedsy, exactly how it is. I don't try to edit any more than I already did in the docs page. I format and I print that as my proof copy. Because here's a little trick for you. Amazon takes forever to publish. They can say to you, oh yeah, it'll be 72 hours and then your book will be out. That is a lie. That is an absolute lie. It takes a week to 2 weeks at least, sometimes longer. It is absurd, absolutely absurd how bad the Kindle publishing interface is for authors. I am constantly surprised at how bad it is. So one trick I learned with my first book is as soon as it's done, create a page and print a proof of your book on Amazon Publishing, because they will most likely delay you somehow. So it's better to get ahead of the game, print it early, and make it like your art copy. You know, check the cover, see if the cover needs to be fixed, check the interior. Just get it as early as possible because you want to get ahead of the game with Amazon Publishing. That is my trick. That is why I have a proof manuscript, and that's what's worked for me so far. If you have any other tips or tricks that's worked for you, leave them in the comments. So then, because I am working out of this proof copy that doesn't have any grammar edits, I then, chapter by chapter, edit them. I do use Grammarly for this. I know that Grammarly has a lot of backlash because it does use AI, and I completely understand that. I get the argument there. I get why people don't want authors to use it. Unfortunately, like I said, I can't freelance out an editor yet. Anytime I can, I absolutely will. I want to support them. I want to use their skills. For now, this is my only option. And one thing I will say is I think that the majority of people refuse to use Grammarly because it has options on it that are not ideal at all if you are against AI. For instance, in the corner here, it says write with generative AI. you can literally change your story with an AI algorithm, which is definitely not what I'm doing. What I'm doing is just using this little tab here, review suggestions. And then I scroll down and I look at each suggestion. So here it says there's an error in correctness and you need to change the preposition. Then I look over and I find where the error is. If you click it, it'll bring you right to that error. But I look over and I see what it is, and it is AI. It's not always right. Another great reason to not solely dedicate, all of your time to this program and just hit accept through every suggestion. You still have to use your mind, put in the work, find its suggestion, see if it's correct, and then go from there. And basically the reason that I'm doing this is just to make sure there aren't any grammatical errors or anything very, very basic like that. Because even though every writing document has these things built into them, they're not always accurate. This has 37 suggestions for the chapter, and I was using the grammar suggestions off of my writing document. So the fact that it still has these suggestions is crazy. This is kind of just my long-winded way of saying that if you're kind of in the same boat that I am, you don't really want to support any kind of AI program, and you've heard all these bad things about Grammarly, but you're also not in the financial circumstances to freelance out an editor. And I think it's perfectly acceptable to use Grammarly as long as you are not using it as an AI program. You are just using it for grammar and punctuation. I personally don't think there's anything wrong with that, but I would really love to see what everybody else says in the comments. Do you have any other suggestions for me? I would really love to just hear all your thoughts and suggestions. So that's what I'm doing tonight. I have got my cozy shows on and I'm just gonna get working. So I just finished another chapter. As much as I don't want to at all feel like I absolutely have to exercise now, it is almost 8 o'clock, it's 7:45, and I just haven't been exercising at all lately. I have been solely focused on my publishing and editing and all of that, and that's not good. It's really not good. So it's 7:45. I'm gonna take just a 15-minute break and do a quick little Pilates YouTube video, and then maybe, as ironic as it is, get myself a little treat to get through the final hour of my 5 to 9 before I can crash and just go to sleep. Also, I think you thought I was kidding when I said that this baby was going to be with me for the rest of the night. He has been next to me all night, just cuddling, sleeping. He is the sweetest little boy in all the world. Look at that little face. Are you kidding? I have another cat around here too, but she is honestly not nearly as cuddly. I absolutely adore her, but she likes her peace and quiet, so she's off somewhere sleeping. So basically every night before bed, I have to either have tea or a glass of wine to sleep. I do have nights where I don't, but the nights that I don't have it, honestly, it's like a noticeable difference in my sleep. I'm like a child. So every night I either have my decaf black tea or my favorite bottle of wine. So this is my favorite bottle of wine ever. I tried it for the first time in Charleston, and for some reason they don't have it near my house. So shout out to my cousin for finding this for me. It is absolutely incredible, and honestly, I might have both tonight, tea and wine. Who cares? Where Inez sighting. To my adorable spoon. Isn't this cute? It's my little teaspoon. Alright guys, we did it. It is officially 9:03. We clocked in for our 5 to 9. We look a little haggard doing it, but it's done. So, 9 to 5, done and dusted. 5 to 9, done and dusted. All that's left now is PJs in bed, do it all again tomorrow. Like I said, it is not easy pulling a 9 to 5 and then a 5 to 9 every weekday, but if you can manage it, it really does help you kind of have that free time on the weekend and not feel as obligated. But most important thing is don't get burnt out. Do what is best for your mental health, for your physical health, and just focus on your goals, but don't ever forget the most important thing of staying healthy, staying happy, and staying balanced. So those were my tips and tricks for a 5 to 9. I hope they were helpful. If you guys have any tips and tricks that I can use, or if you think someone else in the comments might really appreciate, please comment them. I really want us all to be able to collaborate here and let each other know what has worked for each other in the past. If I think of anything else that has really helped me, I'll include that in future videos. If you have any questions for me about any of it, my writing process, my 5 to 9, anything that has just come up as a question for you, feel free to ask that as well. I'll answer all your questions. I always love just seeing the questions that people put on there, and yeah, I just think it's really interesting. So this was really fun. I really enjoyed it. Honestly, it helped keep me motivated to record my 5 to 9 process. So maybe I'll do this more, just document my 5 to 9. So if that sounds good to you, then subscribe and come back, and that way you can see more of these little 5 to 9 diaries of me preparing to publish my second book. It's coming up really soon, and the crazy thing is that even when it's done, there's still so much more to come. So I'm really excited to bring you along for every step of my journey over the next year, and just see what you guys think and have that documented for myself in the future as well, because I think there are a lot of big changes that are potentially coming this year. So I really want to just document it and have that for myself in the future, and also hopefully you'll enjoy seeing it as well. So thank you again for watching. Please subscribe if you enjoyed this video and you want to see all of my crazy plot twists coming up soon. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye!